Hey YouTube friends, gonna do a real quick video today on pre-drafting and drafting, fiber that is. So in my lap here, I have a roving of Wensleydale fiber. And something I had bought pre-done. I didn't prepare this or anything. And this is how it all kind of came in a bag, and this is very common. So when you look at this, it's kind of dense looking, and that is hard to spin. If you've never heard of pre-drafting and you don't, because you're struggling, whatever, brand new spinner, pre-drafting can help a lot. Now, Wensleydale has this is a long wool, has a pretty long staple length. It can be up to 7 to 12 inches, I think. I'm not sure how this is. I didn't test it, but it really is pretty long. So I have pre-drafted some of this. So see how this looks much more airy and much more fluffy compared to this section, right? Let's see if we can hold up the two, right? Pre-drafted, and this is just how it came. All right, so when you're pulling the fiber off of this, you're going to have that slip that's going to happen more easily, okay, versus this, you might actually start to struggle. So how I pre-draft, and I don't know if there's any kind of real set way to do this, I figure out where I kind of ended with my pre-draft, and then I just hold a section of fiber and I just lightly start pulling. But you don't want to pull too hard because you can end up pulling it apart, especially with this kind of stuff. It just will separate pretty quickly. Just a nice little tug, and you just go down a little bit each time, and you're starting to, it's almost like there's a tension to it, but it's not. It's just the fibers are more densely combed or carded into this preparation, and you're allowing it to break apart, and you're getting some air in there. So that's just literally what we did just now. And so that will help you with spinning. Now, when you're spinning, because I've been working on this, if you've ever heard the term the drafting triangle, or how do you properly draft, there's a couple different ways, but basically for the drafting triangle, as I get this started, you're going to see where there's a section of wool that has twist in it, and then all the fluff behind it. So what you can do, there's basically two different ways you can do this. You can pinch the wool so that the twist stays in front of your fingers, and this is all nice and kind of open in the back end, or you can allow the twist to come down into the drafting triangle, right? So I'm going the opposite direction to kind of open that up, and you can see the twist in the drafting triangle. They produce two different types of wool. A lot of that is preference as far as what you're trying to do. The twist in front will make a very dense yarn. That's the worsted way of spinning. The woolen is where you allow the twist to kind of come into the drafting triangle, and it will help trap more air, and it's more more springy, more bouncy. But if you've never understood what the drafting triangle is and how to draft, that's what that is: drafting, pre-drafting. And then just drafting is just you're pulling a bit of fiber. Some people pull the roving, some people will push, if you will, the twisted yarn. I like to use my left hand and push it forward. I've seen where people will do like that too. A lot of it is just ergonomics, what works for you. You can control how much fiber you bring forward. In this method, what I'm doing right now, which was more of the woolen, you grab more fiber, you're going to have a thicker piece of wool. You grab a little bit less fiber, you're going to end up having a thinner piece of wool. And if you're not sure if you're giving it enough twist, you pull backwards here a little bit, and you let it ply back on itself. And then you can get an idea if that is producing the kind of yarn that you want. And you can manipulate that. You can actually twist it and it'll have more bumps in it, or you can loosen it up and make it a looser twist. So you can figure out how much, when you ply it, how much more you need to ply it, or if in your singles that you need to like maybe increase your ratio and make the flyer go faster. And that will, that will increase your twist in your singles, and ultimately your plying, if that's what you're choosing to do. Because one thing a lot of people don't know or realize is that you can have a perfectly acceptable singles yarn. Usually they would not be this thin. This is, I'm going to say, around 17 wraps an inch. You would end up having it, you would spin it basically almost as thick as if it was a 2-ply. And that was my goal with this, was a 2-ply. So if you wanted to do a singles, you just spin it thicker, and there's plenty of things that are knitted or crocheted with that. So anyway, I hope this was helpful for you, and remember, you are the gold. Take care. Bye.